If you've tried to lose fat and get in shape before, this will probably sound familiar. You hop on a diet, you start tracking your calories, and you do actually lose weight. But after a few weeks, you lose motivation, you stop tracking your calories, you start to gain the weight back, and you basically end up back in square one. I was in the same boat. I lost the same 20 to 25 pounds and gained it back 3 times. And I realized the problem wasn't the diet itself, but it was the way that I thought about dieting. I'm going to highlight 4 major mistakes that you're probably making so that you can actually stick to your diet plan, lose weight, and keep it off. The first issue is thinking that you kind of need to get rid of everything that you're doing right now, get rid of all your favorite foods, and hop on a random daily routine that you've never even done before just to start losing weight. The issue with this is it's such a drastic change and it only lasts because you're full of motivation. As soon as that motivation dies down, all of that stuff is going to go out the window. You might start telling yourself, I don't want to do this every day for the rest of my life, just so that I can look good. Your transition into a fat loss phase needs to be so seamless, it almost feels like you're not even going on a diet. During my last fat loss phase, I went from eating 2,900 calories to 1,400 calories. Now all I have to do is change the macros within each meal to where I'm basically eating the same exact meal, just with half the calories. And I did this for all of my meals, and I slightly increased my daily energy expenditure. And just by making those small changes in a bunch of different things, I had seamlessly put myself into a 1,200 calorie deficit. Which brings me to my next point. You need to have a routine set for yourself that you enjoy and that you can stick to. You need to have a structure to your eating. You don't need to eat the exact same thing every single day and do the exact same thing every single day, but you need to have it structured so that when you want to go into a maintenance phase or a bulking phase or a fat loss phase, all you have to do is make small adjustments between each of those things. In my case, I have my breakfast, my pre-workout, my post-workout, and then my dinner. For the breakfast, I adjust my macros. So instead of having eggs, mayonnaise, cheese, and 2 slices of bread, I'll have eggs, mayonnaise, and a slice of bread, which is almost the same meal, but I've reduced my calories by around 300. Done that for all 4 of my meals, 1,200 calories. And I increased my daily steps by 5,000, which really is not that much. With brisk walking, it's about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's an extra 200 calories. Another mistake people make is thinking they need to track every single calorie. You do and you don't. If you have structure to your meals, you don't really have to track every single thing that goes in there. You at least have to track the portion size. If you don't want to track every single crumb on your plate, then you need to be sticking to a meal structure. As in, your portion size needs to be the same for breakfast, the same for lunch, and the same for dinner. Or in my case, I have my breakfast, my pre-workout, my post-workout, and then my dinner. And tracking becomes hardest when I don't eat within these windows. So when I miss my breakfast and I kind of have extra calories, I don't know what to do with them. So I kind of eat a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Then it's like I have to track this and I have to track that, I have to track 3 dates. And if you don't want to track every single calorie, you at least need to stick to these portion sizes so that you roughly know how much you're actually eating. So if you find yourself that you're putting on weight, you can take out a little bit of fat from each of your meals. If you have extra breakfast with mayonnaise, have it without mayonnaise. If you have a tuna sandwich for lunch, don't put cheese in it. Another big mistake is making tracking calories very complicated. If I know that I'm going out for dinner that day or I'm having a cheat meal at the end of the day, I'll basically remove one of those meals and I know that I almost have double the calories for one meal at the end of the day or wherever that cheat meal is going to be. But whether you're tracking calories or not tracking calories, you have to stick to this meal structure. You need to do the same boring thing every single day to get the best results. Now, after you've created this meal structure and you've followed your meal plan and you finally lost the weight that you want to and you're happy with the way you look, now you need to go back into a maintenance phase without going crazy and overeating. And that is the biggest and final mistake that most people make, including myself. And this can basically make or break the diet. Even though you've done the hard work, the exit of your diet will determine whether your diet was successful or unsuccessful. Because you can easily gain back most, if not all, the weight within 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how much weight you lost. The best and surest way that you can actually keep it off is by sticking to the same habits that you followed throughout your diet. Those same habits, the same meal structure, and whatever it is that you did that helped you stay in a deficit is exactly what will stop you from overeating once you've exited your diet. If you set yourself a cheat meal at the end of the week that gave you something to look forward to and helped you stick to your diet for the entirety of the week, keep that cheat meal at the end of the week for yourself, even while you're in a maintenance phase. But the most important thing is that you stick to this structure. And the real success is creating a structure that you can actually stick to forever. It doesn't matter what the leanest, most shredded guy you saw online does. It doesn't matter what your favorite influencer does. What matters is that you can stick to your best plan, which will make you happy with the way that you want to look. If you want my help building a meal plan and a meal structure that you are able to follow and to help you lose weight and keep it off, check the link in my bio.